So let's see what she says.
So the reason why is because registered dietitian, school for 6 years, studying nutrition, weights, all the stuff.
Registered dietitian. So let me talk about this. This is the freaking problem. We have registered dietitians that don't understand health.
So I've got a condition called macromastia. It means that my breasts will just continuously keep growing. So growing up, I wasn't ever fat. I have large breasts. I've got a condition, basically. I know you're laughing.
I'm laughing because that would be my dream. That's the only reason I'm laughing. I was like, poor you.
She's considered overweight because she has large knockers, right? And I think she's secretly proud of them. Honestly, it doesn't seem like she's actually ashamed of them. Otherwise, she'd probably be wearing like a hoodie or something. Like her face doesn't look that bad. And this is a big thing too, is where you store your fat. It can make it even worse. So honestly, the people that don't look that fat can have tons of fat in their like visceral around their organs and stuff. And that's the worst kind of fat. So in a way, these people that can get so obese and totally just, 600-pound life, their body is actually like coping with it better, because some people can be less fat than this girl on the right and be more unhealthy.
So the BMI, I've heard people use the word obese.
Okay.
So what is your thought on this oversimplification? I think actually the medical industry and a lot of health professionals have oversimplified.
I'm sorry if that's happened to you. I think you're seeing the wrong people. I know a lot of really good people.
But that's also privilege. Of course you know a lot of good people. You're a rich white woman who's been on television.
Bruh. What it comes down to is every time these people talk about their story, what their story actually is why they're a failure or why they choose to be a failure and stay a victim. That's the entire premise of most of these people's like story. Is, well, I'm a victim because this happened and I tried this and it just didn't work, and now everyone should accept me because I'm a fat, overweight, social science educated person. Like, that's all this is, and that's their entire movement. That's how these people connect, is how oppressed am I in my life to where everything controls my life and I can't come out on top. Like, I can't do anything to succeed because X, Y, Z, and society needs to change because of that. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the video. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to be reacting to Jillian Michaels on this Jubilee episode where they're debating with the fat acceptance movement, or the, healthy at any size, like this type of movement, fat acceptance, body positivity. That's usually what they want to go with, is the body positivity, right? But we're going to break it down. I'm going to talk about points just as we go, because there's a lot of good discussions going on here. I am, of course, a psychology major, and I found my love of biology, physiology, through just immersing myself in it. But psychology and the mental shifts, that's where my passion really is at. So we're gonna go through this. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna pause it at little bits and talk about different sections. So let's take a seat, pull out your popcorn, and let's enjoy. Here we go.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
I have lived in a fat body for as long as I can remember.
Here we go.
And I've known very many fat people. And I don't think any of us, the people that I know, I can only speak to the people that I know, I don't think any of us are pretending that we're okay with it. What I want to say here is I live with autoimmune disorders, I live with chronic illness, and I'm also neurodivergent. And this is, the body positivity movement has made it so that I can tolerate this life. I can find ways to thrive, even still.
This is part of the problem, is tolerance. People want to find a way to tolerate their own misery instead of change it. And right here, she's talking about autoimmune issues. She's talking about neurodivergence. So we have the blend of the psychological, the mental health, and the biological health, usually probably stemming from something that happened in their past with their health, being high fat, like just high adiposity on your body frame is not going to help your immune system. Having insulin resistance, all of these things correlate to things like rheumatoid arthritis. All of these things are so interconnected, but they can't put it together. So let's see what else they have to say. I know this is just going to be them talking about their individual story as the main thing, and she's not going to debunk any of the points here. But let's continue.
I'm not pretending that this doesn't bother me. And by bother, I mean that it doesn't hurt to carry my weight. I'm willing to concede with you that carrying around extra weight is harder. It is. But it must be done.
I don't know that I agree with you.
Okay. Tell me more, please.
Well, tell me why you think it must be done.
Because I've worked really hard to not have this.
What does that mean? Like you beat yourself up in the gym or something?
No, I don't. That's not fun.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to understand what you...
So she just totally destroyed her own point because she's like, I tried really hard. And then she's like, oh, so you beat yourself up at the gym? No, that's too hard. It's like, bruh, what are you doing? So this is the point where everyone raises their flags, right?
What you mean?
What I mean is that I grew up with a number of undiagnosed conditions, and even I can think back to like middle school, and I couldn't keep up when the PE teacher would make us like run laps, and I'm like, this is physically aching me, and I didn't understand why. And I didn't understand why because I grew up with a single parent, undocumented single.
You know, I want to talk about this too. So she mentions running track, and I can empathize with that. So I was not a big person who liked even physical fitness, like physical education back in school. I hated running laps. Man, did I hate running. Like, I still hate running. You wouldn't think so from, the amount of cardio I do, but I'm not running. I fucking hate running. So I'll stay lean through cardio and other means. And that's a big thing because she talks about almost having trauma back in, PE class, physical education, by running the track. And she hated it so much, right? And this is one of the issues, is people don't overvalue strength training, but also when it comes to cardio, they're doing the type of cardio that they just ultimately really hate. So I don't think running is even all that great, as much as people would lead on. It shouldn't be the default. So her disliking running is just showing that, she had to do it back in the day. So anything adjacent to it is an automatic no. And it also signifies, of course, she's not trying hard.
Parent, we were bound to the medical system that we had access to.
I understand.
I've done what I needed to do a number of times to try to lose weight.
What did you try? Tell me.
I've worked out at the gym. I've tried to do Pilates. Even yoga.
Okay.
Even yoga hurts me.
Okay, so the exercise causes you pain.
The exercise
autoimmune
causes
condition. Okay, no problem.
Right.
I'm with you.
Dieting, for example.
Okay.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think that food makes very much sense to me in my neurodivergent brain.
This is where mechanistic eating actually helps people who are neurodivergent, and the research supports that because it doesn't have to make sense to you.
Okay.
In other words, it's like you eat on these schedules and you eat these foods and you eat this much, hence the concept, right, of
Hard
mechanistic.
pass. I don't like that.
I understand that you don't like it, but you'll have to decide which you don't like more. Carrying the weight or the mechanistic eating, because it actually could be helpful.
This is an interesting point, and I actually never really thought about this, but when it comes to my autistic brain, like loving video games, for example, I can see like, oh, this food is like plus 8 muscle strength points, right? Like, I think of it like a video game, and this is how my autistic brain got into dieting and started really liking it, because it does work that way. Like, life can be gamified in this way. So even my workouts, they're gamified. Like, I have my sets, I check them off, I put the weight, I can see what I did last time. So it's gamified, and my neurodivergent, if I want to be an SJW, my neurodivergent brain loves that. So I thrive from that. I thrive knowing my chicken breast, my ground beef and rice is like plus 5 quick energy with the rice, plus 8 strength points towards my day. Like, my brain loves that. And too much of these people see it just as something that's uncomfortable, and that's the issue. Is there's no getting around it. Like, this neurodivergent crap is just an excuse. Like, she's just saying that. Like, that's how I see it, because most people just don't understand this on a basic level, like the stat points. Like, that's how it's going to help you. So if you can stop eating freaking ice cream and drinking 800 calorie drinks from Starbucks where you probably work, then it's going to help you a lot. Like, you learn what actually works, and you see things in your body change because of it, and that's a good thing.
Or other ways forward, but you told me you tried them.
I tried a whole lot. There's a lot of other things to be concerned about. I'm also a social worker. I work with youth. There are a lot of...
Let's go back to you.
Yes.
Tell me.
I'm saying for me...
See, this is it. This is what they always default to, is everything external to them, but also that makes them unique at the same time. Like, everything external I can't control, and then everything about me that makes me a special kind of victim. That's their whole, like, operating system. That's how they operate.
Right? There are many things that I'm more concerned about than my weight. My body is not the most interesting thing about me.
You just brought up your weight and said, I don't see a way out of this.
Right.
I've tried everything.
I take care of it in the ways that I can, and I've found works for me.
But you just told me it didn't work for you.
But it works to an extent.
You just told me it didn't work for you.
It works to an extent.
It depends how much you want to optimize your health, your autoimmune, everything, even your brain. Like, your the amount of autism you can, or the amount of autism you have, can be regulated by things like your diet and cutting out all these additives that light up your brain on fire, like total ADHD mode, right? So these things can also be optimized when it comes to diet and lifestyle. It helps your brain function. Instead of becoming a victim to your neurodivergent brain, you're actually better because of it, and you don't exacerbate what makes that neurodivergence a negative thing. But so much of this stuff is just victim. Like, it's just, I'm a victim because I have autoimmune. I'm a victim because I'm neurodivergent. That's all they know.
This is an irrelevant conversation if you're happy with it.
I stand on 10 toes down, that we are not pretending that
There's
this is
healthy
okay.
at any size. There are absolutely elements and aspects of the movement that do put that messaging into the universe. I've had those debates.
You've said?
I've had numerous
I want
debates
to-
with people who are body positivity activists that try to tell me that they can be healthy at any size. And it's just not the case.
And I disagree with that.
Like, her face doesn't look that bad. And this is a big thing too, is where you store your fat. It can make it even worse. So honestly, the people that don't look that fat can have tons of fat in their, like, visceral, around their organs and stuff. And that's the worst kind of fat. So in a way, these people that can get so obese and totally just, 600-pound life, their body is actually, like, coping with it better, because some people can be less fat than this girl on the right and be more unhealthy. So this is, like, the nuance that they're trying to put into the debate in a way, but it's just a matter of how their fatness can be less impactful on their health. So the healthy at any size thing has a specific nuance, and it is that because there are skinnier people that will be more unhealthy because they store fat in different areas. But to descend into, well, any fatness is, not necessarily bad, it's just disingenuous to the conversation.
Shame, you've
have to
used shame as a
pause.
vehicle.
I'm sorry, we have to pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Got it, okay.
What I'm curious about is if you care about people's health and you have people in front of you, and I'm sure you have people online who are telling you that the body positivity movement, or I prefer body liberation, body justice, body acceptance, body, blah, all the good shit that we like.
Can I just say I hate this clicking stuff? It's so stupid. Just, I don't know. Pet peeve.
Actually increases their health, then I don't understand your debate. Like, what are you debating if the fat people are telling you it makes their life better?
So if their acceptance movement increases their health, then why are you debating that obesity is not healthy? She's like totally playing on a whole different plane of not measuring anything or quantifying anything she's saying. She's like saying, oh, well, if this just caters to me and makes me feel good mentally, along with a bunch of other people, then why are you trying to argue against obesity? Because my brain is happy.
I'm debating their physical health, and I'm debating the people who claim that you can be physically healthy at any size.
Okay. Do you think you can be physically healthy and mentally unhealthy at the same time?
Of course, but that's not the claim.
Okay, sure. I think the part where I get stuck, I am a mental health professional.
So here we go. Once again, this is going to be individual stories, and individual stories are good. But this is the entire paradigm she's coming from. And I don't know if I'll regret saying this, but she doesn't look that fat or she doesn't look overweight to me, this lady. So, you know, for what that's worth, I can see it's not even really an issue for her. She's just trying to help people mentally, right? So
I work with people from a body liberation standpoint. I work with people in all shapes of bodies. What I know to be true from my experience is that body positivity, body liberation helps people take care of themselves. It's very difficult to understand why you think somebody is going to take better care of a body they hate. Like why body positivity would not inspire people to take better care of their bodies.
My argument. I never said you should hate your body. In fact, you
No,
should.
didn't.
Okay, so I don't think that. What I think is that there are people in the movement who have co-opted healthy at any size, and it went from access to health care to quite literally meaning for them that you can be healthy at any size, and that's not true.
I think a better way to defuse her argument here is people talking about, of course, if they feel good, then why are you, attacking obesity? And the real argument to that is if they are told that they should love themselves, then the extension of them loving themselves is actually feeding their body the foods that show love instead of destroying your body's health by just indulging the mind. And this is the big problem that a lot of people don't understand is going out for cupcakes and ice cream all the time. Sure, your brain loves that at a level because it's just lighting up your reward system, but that's not self-love. It's totally not. And if you're a therapist or some psychologist that can help someone actually love themselves, then it's not by catering to their cravings when it comes to food and inactivity. It's actually having that mindset shift and giving them specific strategies to help them feel better physically and mentally, because they're both tied together. This is an issue that a lot of, mentally focused people don't understand, is doing the things physically helps the mental too.
Okay. I mean, the studies show that if you're very, 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 very thin, or your body is very, 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 very big, it is more difficult to be healthy. That is absolutely true.
But then you agree with me on this point.
I don't, because I don't think body positivity is the dangerous thing. I think hatred of fat bodies and people hating themselves and people living in self-loathing because they've been taught that their body is the wrong shape, that's the danger.
Both can be true at once. So let's look at this, right? So the first thing we would want to do, obviously, is incentivize somebody. So it's like, okay, what's the why that's going to allow you to tolerate the how? But hold on. That's the positive. That's the inspiration piece. Okay? Now, here's the issue. If that piece, if all the things that they get out of it don't serve them as much as the things they're getting out of being overweight, and it does provide quite a lot, I can give you an example. Then they're not going, unconsciously, they will sabotage the change. Can I give you an example so you'll understand it? Okay, there was a kid that I worked with
Okay.
on Biggest Loser. He's 18 years old.
Okay.
He shows up with his dad, Ken. They both lose like 100 pounds. They go home, and they're visiting their family. It's the holidays. Doors fly open, and there's mom. And mom starts crying. And she's not crying tears of joy. She feels like they're going to abandon her, like they broke the contract, like they've outgrown her. And she becomes sad and she withdraws. So what does the 18-year-old do? He starts eating with mom again. What does the food provide him? A connection with his mom. I had something similar with my dad. This is one of the ways that we connected. Food provides a lot of people with a lot of different things.
Yes, you cannot eat and not have your parasympathetic nervous system turn on at the same time. There's no such thing as not emotional eating. It's fine. It's good. It's great. Food is great.
But what I'm trying to show you is that if, in some cases, the pain associated with continuing that defense mechanism is greater than the pain associated with change, it helps people change in some cases.
So this is a really good point. I'm glad that Jillian had this, I guess, insight. And this is one of the things that I think a lot of people fall into is, you know, food is how we show love to one another. And really, this story about the husband and the son who lost, 100 pounds, they found out the root cause of why they gained so much weight is from the mother or the wife, in both cases, right? She is the anchor that basically sets them on their path of becoming overweight because it's something she has mentally. It's one of her traumas that kind of imprints on them and enables them into eating. And this dynamic of just overeating, over-consuming, because that's the only way you can connect with someone is pretty crazy. So, I mean, that's something she's going to have to deal with. And then, like she's saying now, you have to figure out how to weigh that over, what you want for your own life and make those changes, make those adjustments, because there's definitely got to be a better way to connect with your mother than just eating all the freaking time, like throughout the entire day, eating this junk. So there's got to be more to life. That's a big problem.
Not in the long term. And I
Okay, we
struggle.
have to pause there.
I agree with
Sorry, you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
So earlier you were speaking about how there's randomized control trials that
There's
show.
Mendelian randomized control trials that have now shown us that obesity is causal to all-cause mortality.
Okay, so I disagree with that. I think there's going to be a problem with
dozens. Good
So,
fact
but
check them.
here's why I disagree. Because
You can disagree,
no,
but
but let me let me hear.
Okay, so she's disagreeing with the fact that obesity is linked to all-cause mortality. And let's look at the fact check here. It says obesity is associated with higher risk of death from all causes, particularly, above 30 BMI, but the relationship varies, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think we all know this. We all can agree on this.
Yeah.
So let's see what she
Okay.
says.
So the reason why is because registered dietitian, school for 6 years, studying nutrition, weights, all the stuff.
Registered dietitian. So let me talk about this. This is the freaking problem. We have registered dietitians that don't understand health from real nutrition. But let's see what exactly she has to say, because I don't know if this is going to be coherent.
And we can't keep.
Lipotoxicity is.
It doesn't come up in my curriculum because it's bullshit. Because it's a TikTok thing that's like.
It doesn't come up in her curriculum because it's bullshit. And it's a TikTok thing. What the hell? Where are these like social minded, educated people at? Like, they're not in reality.
Cortisol face or whatever.
It's
but
not,
please, just
listen
back
to me,
studies.
it is not bullshit.
Back to the
It's
studies.
ectopic fat.
But can we just
It's
say,
when
because you
fat
keep sidestepping
ends
and then we
up-
can never
I'm not
get anywhere.
sidestepping, this is the claim.
Okay.
Okay, the claim is that obesity is unhealthy. Lipotoxicity
But the
is
reason-
not bullshit.
But-
it is the definition of ectopic fat.
It's
When
funny it never
fat
came up in
gets
6 years of a
deposited-
professional accredited undergrad.
What's fatty liver disease?
I know what fatty liver. I was a
What
clinical
is it?
dietitian and
That-
You know, this is a big thing too. So I'm going to just point this out because she made a really good point herself, saying that of her 6 years of being a registered dietitian or going on that path, this has never come up. And we, most of us, I think, know the reason why. The reason why is because nutrition and, dietetics is not actually trying to make people healthy. The health system in America is not existing to make people healthy. It's existing to prolong the interests, the big food corporations. They fund so much of the studies. They fund so much of the curriculum, everything that's put into the curriculum. This has to toe the line of the big food companies. And that's the biggest problem with nutrition. And this is why she's saying this has never come up in my education. And it's because it's against the entire narrative of true health. And most people should know this. This should be common fucking sense.
Toxicity
But the
is
reason-
not bullshit.
But-
it is the definition of ectopic fat.
It's
When
funny it never
fat
came up in
gets
6 years of a
deposited-
professional accredited undergrad.
What's fatty liver disease?
I know what fatty liver. I was a
What
clinical
is it?
dietitian at a
That's
hospital.
lipotoxicity.
Okay,
Okay.
so-
When fat is in the liver, when fat is in the heart, when fat gets deposited in the brain.
Yeah.
That is lipotoxicity, and it happens when the body has no place to put the excess energy anymore.
Okay.
It is irrefutable that that is bad for your health.
Can we just go back to the correlation doesn't equal causation? So you're saying there's causal studies, right?
Yes,
Okay.
MRT
Gotcha.
studies
You can-
that show...
The acronym is great. Okay. So my thing is, the reason why we cannot show that the fat in and of itself leads to the negative health outcomes is because we cannot keep a human in a lab and control every factor, but have the only thing that's different.
Use Mendelian randomized control
But can you just
trials.
listen? So a person,
That inherently eliminates any conflating factors because they're based on genetic predispositions coupled with
But can I
lifestyle.
just share?
Okay.
A person in a larger body has experienced things that we can't undo from the fat. So for example, they might have negative health outcomes because every time they go to a doctor, instead of being given an evidence-based treatment, like I have unearned thin privilege, I go to a doctor, I say, my stomach hurts, I get a full
You're
workup.
basically saying the earth is flat. Are you trying to tell me that
no,
having fat in your liver,
I just wanna talk
having
about-
fat in your heart, having fat deposited in your brain is healthy?
No, I just want to talk
Okay,
about.
so no, you're not trying to say that it's healthy.
No, I'm not trying to tell you that is what I said. I was never talking about the health of it.
Okay.
I'm trying to say everything you're saying is hinging on this idea, and it's a problem that we disagree on it, that it's the weight in and of itself that leads to the negative health outcomes. You're saying this MRT totally is.
Fat is in
So I have no idea what the heck she's even trying to argue. If she's saying it's the weight, it's not the weight, it's the fat. And that's everything she just said. It's the lipotoxicity. It's the fat at such a toxic level in key areas that's interfering with organ function. So I don't know why she's diluting it back to weight. Maybe that's her argument, because we sure know they're not putting on muscle.
an endocrine organ.
I know, but can you? What about?
It destroys your hormone balance. It creates insulin sensitivity.
What about the fat?
And to go back to the nuance when it comes to fat and the healthy at any size nuance, because it is a real thing. The problem is lipotoxicity is different based on the person's genetics and where they store fat. So yeah, like the healthy at any size is brought on because some people will be skinnier and have the same like lipotoxicity as someone that's super obese, because some people just won't leak out all those fats. Like they won't have huge freaking hips that takes up 2 seats. Some people just physically can't grow their fat like that, and they'll still be at a threshold of more lipotoxicity than the person who has it as well. It's just a moot point, although the nuance does exist. Like there's no one that's arguing this properly because they don't understand. They just know some people, even though they're weighing like 150 pounds less, can still have a higher threshold of lipotoxicity. It's just ridiculous.
The body has too much fat. It releases insane amounts of different.
I just wonder, have you heard of social determinants of health?
Tell me about it.
Okay, social determinants of health, a group of factors that impact someone's health outcomes.
Okay.
That are things like your healthcare access and quality, neighborhood and built environment, things like your stress levels, socioeconomic status.
Okay.
And here's the thing: a person who's fat or lives in a larger body, we can't take away that person has probably experienced higher stress levels their whole life from experiencing marginalization every corner, from shows like The Biggest Loser to the doctor's office.
Okay.
We can't take away that they haven't been given evidence-based health options because when they go to a doctor, they're told to go lose
When
weight.
fat gets deposited in
But
the
you're
brain.
not answering what I'm.
Oh God. So this is the externalization of stress effects on someone's lived experience. This is what she's trying to do. She's trying to make it, instead of it's about their internal choices or everything that they can control, it's everything they can't control that is the problem. This is the exact argument that she's trying to make, and saying that that is the whole reason why they're unhealthy.
How does I'm confused. Are you suggesting these are the reasons people become overweight?
No, I'm suggesting that a person could be in a larger body and be perfectly healthy based on their labs, their cholesterol.
7% of people who are classified as overweight or obese, call it whatever you.
A larger body means what? Taller? Larger body means what? More muscle mass? Like a bodybuilder? Because there ain't no freaking bodybuilders in the panel here, other than Jillian Michaels, prioritizing muscle mass. Bigger means more muscle mass. Being healthier, which disqualifies BMI from being a credible way to judge someone's health. There ain't no one that's prioritizing muscle mass out there in the body positivity movement, really. Let's be real. The fat acceptance movement, that's the more apt description. So for her to bring this point up, there ain't nobody that's living that lifestyle to qualify this line of reasoning as true.
You guys feel comfortable with. Only 7% are classified as healthy.
Say that was true. Say we knew for certain.
I can go grab the data for you right now if you want.
Say we knew for certain that it was unhealthy, that what you're saying is true.
Here's the classification.
But even then, we'd be in this place where, okay.
Let's break down this fact check really quick. Let's see. So one U.S. population study, this is just one study, using strict metabolic criteria, found 6.8% of adults with obesity were metabolically healthy. So they found that out of 100% of people classified with obesity were metabolically healthy. And then it says, however, other research shows higher estimates when different definitions are used, with prevalence of healthy obesity ranging from 10 to 30%. So they're saying, the BMI qualification of someone being obese, which is a BMI of 30 or higher, can still have healthy people. And it's saying here 10 to 30%, like a third. So that depends on the amount of people in each study, right? But it also matters on muscle mass and height. And, BMI does take into account height. So we can kind of throw that out of the equation here. But it comes down to muscle mass, because I could be considered overweight because of my muscle mass. And more people like bodybuilders out there, depending, can of course even be into the obese category because of their fat. And people that have that power lifter body where they're pretty fat but also have a lot of muscle, they're really going to be in that obese category. So, it really depends on the sample size. But for her to bring this up as a way of counteracting that obesity is not healthy, it's like a misnomer. You have to define the terms and really talk about the real thing we're mentioning here is muscle mass. That's the only thing that's preventing from lipotoxicity, if she believes in lipotoxicity as a freaking registered dietitian. And, the jury's still out on that.
So what do? Are we going to send someone down a path of trying to lose weight and then gaining and trying and gaining? And we know that weight cycling in and of itself, bad for the heart, bad for insulin, bad for the
What do we
brain,
do?
bad for all the things.
We work with that individual.
That's what I do in my private practice.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And I don't encourage weight loss because it's unethical.
I disagree with you.
You don't want to encourage weight loss. You want to encourage fat loss, muscle gain. If you can, and most of my clients that I work with, they will lose fat and gain muscle at the same weight that they're like replacing. Like they're replacing their weight. Fat goes down, muscle goes up, and the weight on the scale seems to be the same. So we have to do waist measurements. And this is the entire thing. It's what type of weight? Fat. Can we agree that fat is fucking bad for people and it's fucking unhealthy at high thresholds? If we can't agree that fat is bad, then I don't know, man. That's it. They're just not in science land. But to be disingenuous and mystify and put this smoke and mirrors up about the specific weight that's being factored into these BMI things is muscle mass. That's the reason why BMI is largely invalidated. And there ain't no bodybuilders that are part of the fat acceptance movement, like on this real level. Let's just call it what it is, but no one wants to make that distinction. It's not weight loss, it's fat loss, and you want muscle gain. So if you weigh a lot because of muscle, who fucking cares? The BMI is not for you. But all of these people who are very fat, BMI is gonna freaking matter for your health because you're really fat.
And what's ethical? You were asking before, what do
it's unethical
professionals do?
not to be transparent with people
And
about the dangers.
Yeah, transparency is the dangers of weight cycling. You can go down that
That's
path.
a separate issue. You're presuming they're weight cycling. If you're doing your job, they shouldn't have to weight cycle, right?
No, it's not about me. It's about the body. The body is so smart. But we're animals. Our bodies, when we lose weight, our body goes, oh shit, she just starved me. I'm gonna do everything I can to try to get back to that.
And you know the exact reason why this is because people are losing weight and losing muscle with it. The Ozempic craze, the GLP-1 fake synthetic mimic agonists, and all these people that think dieting is just weight loss, when in reality it's muscle gain and fat loss. That's what it should be, but none of these people know it. And people freaking running on the treadmill, eating less, you're doing it completely wrong. Like, everyone should know this at this point, but no one gets it. And no one's going to want to pick up a dumbbell or a barbell to prove the point otherwise, unless they educate themselves and at least give it a try and get over the freaking number on the scale. That's one of the biggest deterrents, really. Instead of looking at how you are looking in the mirror every week, everyone's getting uptight about the number on the scale, even though they're putting on muscle and losing fat. So people just lose the entire thought process because they're measuring the wrong thing and they think it's all about weight loss. No.
Place,
I think it's
drive
more
up thoughts about
complex.
food.
I think it's more
slow down
complex.
metabolism to conserve the energy you are.
And they slow down the metabolism because you lost muscle mass. That's it. Or if you put on muscle mass during your fat loss phase, you will basically probably upregulate your metabolism and keep it higher. That's the entire difference maker that unlocks this entire argument. They could have stopped arguing for hours if they realized they needed to differentiate weight in terms of muscle and fat. Because Jillian here is arguing fat is unhealthy. These people are arguing that the BMI scale is wrong, but no one's asking, oh, well, why is the BMI scale wrong? The BMI scale is wrong because people can have high muscle mass and it will count against them into going into the unhealthy territory. And none of these people, once again, I'm going to say it again, are not putting on muscle mass. So them thinking that the BMI scale's nullified, they ain't even, treading towards the waters that are actually going to help them prove their point because they're staying fat.
are getting.
So are you suggesting that because it's hard and it's multifactorial, we should negate the dangers and not try to get
I'm
healthier?
suggesting that it's more dangerous to weight cycle than it is to stay in a fat body.
Still not the claim. And if you want to show me that, sure, show me the data. I'm not going to argue with that. It's not healthy to do that either. That's still not the claim.
Your claim
this
is
isn't a
fat in of itself.
hierarchy
all
of
right,
what
we're
is
out
unhealthy.
we're out of time. We have to pause the.
Hi.
I'm Summer. How are you?
Jillian, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so the body positivity movement actually got me out of my eating disorder, and if that's okay, I would like to tell you a little bit
Please,
about it.
absolutely.
So growing up, I wasn't ever fat. I just have I have large breasts. I have got a condition, basically. I know you're laughing.
I'm laughing because that would be my dream. That's the only reason I'm laughing. I was like, poor you, Summer. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so once again, this is just a case of what people want to share their story, right? And I think it matters. But she's bringing up a good point. You know, body positivity is so. I mean, I don't know. I don't know her internal thoughts, but okay, maybe she just got on here to promote her OnlyFans. I have no idea. Not as a judgment to her. I'm not trying to judge her or label her as something like that. But I want to just talk about reality, because this is what I see in a lot of individual social just communities, is they want to be as unique as possible. And some people will do a compla brag. It's an insult. They consider something an insult, but they're actually bragging about it. They're using the fact that some people insult them over this as a way to brag. So one example would be people always make fun of my eyebrows because they always look so perfect with their lines and everything. And, it's just a way that a lot of people will brag about stuff. And it's hilarious because this is what it seems to be to me already. But this is a thing that I wouldn't have thought of, people, body positivity, and even technically being overweight because you have large breast tissue. That's not necessarily going to hurt her health. So this is one of the things I would concede, if she has large breasts, it's not going to really metabolically hurt her health-wise. It's just some type of, almost consider them like tumors, in a way, non-cancerous tumors. Think of it like that. Yeah, it's going to put on an extra 20 pounds onto your frame each boobie, but it's not going to really hurt your metabolic health.
I've been on a diet since I was 6.
Okay.
You've talked a lot about trauma, being molested.
I've been on a diet since I was 6. Okay. So here we go. This is one that seems where they snap back really hard from very strict parents to, okay, I can control everything myself now, so I'm going to go off the walls.
Parents, this and that.
Yes.
I've heard of someone mention the BMI. I've heard people use the word obese.
Okay.
So what is your thought on this oversimplification? I think actually the medical industry and a lot of health professionals have oversimplified.
I'm sorry if that's happened to you. I think you're seeing the wrong people. I know a lot of really good people.
But that's also privilege. Of course, you know a lot of good people. You're a rich white woman who's been on television. And I would love to know, somebody
Bruh.
Let them write
show.
books.
Totally.
A lot
I
of
could
them.
read a book. I've read a lot of diet books, Jillian.
Not a diet book.
Or whatever. What kind of book? A self-help book?
Well, I mean, if you're struggling with an eating disorder and you're telling me I have no access to
Well, how do I know if I'm
expert-
struggling?
I just want to point out the fact she's talking about privilege and bringing that into this. And she has the privilege of being on this program with one of the people that's probably, the most into body transformations and really trying to connect and help people with her last wit's end, right? So to totally go against her by bringing up the privilege crap, come on. You have the privilege of being here. You have the privilege to have this platform too. So are you going to actually use it to help yourself, or to just, snap back at someone because it's great to be a victim.
Dealing with an eating disorder, where does genetics play into all of this?
Do you want to take on genetics? We can.
Go ahead. Are you a scientist?
Do you think you have to be a scientist to understand?
No, but
the
I
way
haven't heard
genetics
one
work?
comment about where do genetics play in.
I love how they want to snap back about, oh, are you qualified to be a scientist? We already heard from a registered dietitian that has no idea about lipotoxicity. Education basically means nothing these days. And if she's going to bring up, oh, are you a doctor? Or do you want to talk about genetics? Or are you a geneticist? That has nothing. That has like fuck all to do with this debate. People can understand the basics of genetics and even, all the different genes that can be switched, the expression on and off, everything. All of this has nothing to do with anything because she doesn't care about the science at the end of the day. We know she doesn't care about the science. She's not going to follow the science anyways. So it doesn't even matter who it's coming from. She's not going to take the advice.
It's not the claim. If you want to get into genetics and
Repeat
obesity.
the claim again. First of all, obesity is a very outdated term. It's based on the BMI, which is based on white men.
Actually,
in this, come on, Jillian, you could be single-handedly responsible for updating the BMI.
Okay, but we also have waist to hip, and we have DEXA, and we have MRI.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
So
what are the
BMI,
MRI, meaning
you
like
don't
the
even-
machine most fat people don't even fit in?
You have DEXA, and you have
I've never
waist
heard
to
of that,
hip.
girl. What's a DEXA?
DEXA
These
scan.
are normal people. We are on TikTok.
Okay, how about waist to hip?
Hold on. There's also been a lot
Waist
of
to
like
hip ratio?
blame, sure, waist to hip ratio, but that's also like skeletal and like.
No, waist to hip is not. It has to do with a ratio of your waist to your hips, and it's evidence, sorry to say, of excess visceral fat. That's what it's for. And that's an indicator of obesity.
So obesity, that term, what does that mean to you?
Obesity, it means that you have an unhealthy percentage of body fat.
What is healthy? What is unhealthy? Like, what is the measure of health for human
For
beings?
women, I think it's in the 35 plus percentile.
35 plus percentile of what? By what measure? The DEXA?
Body fat.
35% of your body weight being comprised of body fat.
The thing that I think is most interesting is that you didn't get to earlier.
You didn't ask me earlier.
Well, I haven't gotten there. Is no, with someone else. You said, because I'm seeing a very different person than from who we've seen on television. And I think there's been a lot of blame shifting to influencers and TikTok. And the reality is, girl, that's where we're all getting our info now. I've never seen a full episode of The Biggest Loser because my parents told me to watch it. And I said, all the way off.
Right, but you have no rage at your parents whatsoever, right?
Oh, well, I'm not fat because of the rage at my
all the way
parents.
off? That doesn't sound like a primary wound telling your parents to all the way
But
off.
the
Is
primary
that not evidence of what I'm saying?
Totally.
I love the fact that Jillian is using the words that they can understand if they're like psychologically aligned. Like this primary wound thing and trauma, especially for this prompt, is huge because it absolutely is a primary wound for her because she knows that the way she was brought up was so strict. She just wanted to lay back and just be done with it. Be done with the constant, measurement or just little bits, not fully experiencing her childhood, really. That's the big thing, right? Like that's her primary wound.
A primary wound plus genetics plus whatever choices I make in my life is where what you're
Can I ask
seeing
you
now.
something? Pick the argument we want to have. Do you want to have a debate?
I want to hear who
discuss
you are on the
genetics?
show, who that person is and was,
Okay.
and who this person is now. Because
Same
I'm seeing
person. It's not at all. Can I say something? You just told me you never watched an episode of Biggest
Oh, but I've seen TikTok clips. I saw the documentary. I mean,
Have
who
you
hasn't?
have you ever seen a full episode? Let's say with one of my contestants like Abby Wright.
Tell me about the show.
Michelle
Tell me
Aguilar.
whatever. Tell me who you were on the show. Tell me where that Jillian Michaels. Because to be
I will,
honest,
but you
we've
gotta
all
let me talk.
Sure.
The contestant
has all of the things: type 2 diabetes, the beginnings of chronic kidney disease, arterial plaque, all the things that are legitimately alarming. So I can't get her on this frickin' ladder. It's day one. Can't get her on for 15 seconds. Tried everything. Cannot get her on this ladder for 15 seconds.
And we're playing this out and we're playing it out, not getting anywhere. Because the story is, I'm weak, I'm fat, I'm worthless, I'm this, I'm that, all the internalized shame. And at that moment, I pretty much tried everything. What you don't see is this has gone on for about 4 hours and I can't get her on the freaking ladder. She comes in the room and I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm like, God damn it, get on this freaking ladder. I swear to God, get on the ladder or you're gonna go home. Get on the freaking ladder. Going crazy. And I'm utilizing her fear of me, quite honestly, to circumvent the story that she thinks is true. Long story short, she gets on the ladder. She climbs 15 seconds. Show up the next day. She's like, I got back on the ladder for 15 minutes last night. I was like, that's awesome, dude. And she ended up losing 300 pounds. So you may not agree with it, but it worked for me and it worked for Shay in that moment. You don't know why I'm doing it. You don't understand that it's a life or death intervention on a
You know, this is a good point. For some of these very extreme cases, like she just mentioned, she was like 500 pounds or something, they're only driven basically by fear, like that lowest level of what is going to get them to literally move. And for a lot of people, it's not, oh, you're going to look great, like you're going to be so, you know, thin and, you know, and it's hard to paint that picture for someone that's 500 pounds. They can't even fathom that. So they have to be driven by fear if they want to change, if they want to survive, right? So it seems barbaric and like something these body positivity people would not be okay with. But for these people where it's life or freaking death, man.
Ticking clock. You don't understand all the other things I've tried. So I kind of don't care what you guys
How much
think.
of her weight did she gain back?
She gained, well, oh, good one.
Because
hold on.
95% of diets don't work.
Not my contestants. 35% of them kept the weight off, which is actually exceptional. And I could give you all the names. If 5% are able to keep it off, there are obviously a myriad of reasons as to why that's the case. But if I had a 35% success rate, can you at least concede that maybe I'm doing a little bit better than the norm, than the baseline?
I can agree that the #1 celebrity trainer in the entire world has a success rate. That I can concede
You
to.
said keep it off.
People they still externalize everything. They're like, oh, it's Jillian's fault that she maybe regained some weight back. It's like, bro, this is self-accountability. You're trying to build them the pathway to living properly and show them how to do it. But you can't be there for their entire life. You have to impart your knowledge and way to integrate it into their life. But it's up to them. They have to want it. They have to initiate everything else afterward. You can't be responsible for them for their entire rest of their life. And anything that they can do to externalize everything as something didn't work, they will do it. And that's what you just saw there.
If they kept it off, I got the weight off.
30% of people that went on a public TV show.
All right, we got to pause there. We are out of time.
I'm going to end it here for now. If you guys want me to react to more, then I will. But I just want to say a couple things first. What I keep coming back to, just with this whole thing, this whole body positivity movement, fat acceptance, whatever.